North Stradbroke Island is a sand island just off the coast of Brisbane. Because of its mineral-rich sands, the dunes have been mined for the past 50 years. But recently, the Premier, Anna Bligh, announced the state government would not be renewing any mining leases on the island, and all mining will be phased out by 2027. The state government plans to convert the island into an ecotourism destination similar to Fraser Island further north. Kim Cheetham is CEO of Ecotourism Australia, and here's what she had to say about the island's conversion into an ecotourism destination.
I think tourism is more than where people sleep. It's the tours that they take, and it's the experiences or the attractions that they can visit. And all of those can be different types of ecotourism experiences, depending on how they operate and how they interact with the environment and how much the tourist gets to interact with the environment. I think to turn a destination into an ecotourism destination, you need to actually have the product developed there that actually attracts the right kind of clientele. So what are the compelling eco-environmental aspects of this destination that are going to attract tourists who are sophisticated, well-travelled and very passionate about the environment?
Unimin is a major sand mining company on the island. Company spokesperson Paul Smith said the company supports the preservation of the island, and he believes tourism and mining can coexist.
There's a number of ecotourism businesses on the island right now, and there's nothing stopping the state creating a resort or something like that at the moment. So I guess that's what we're trying to say is let's phase these things in and out of, and try and avoid the big economic bumps along the way. Stradbroke's had a history of boom and busts with government involvement. So, we need to smooth out the booms and busts and plan for something that will take that. But increasing visitors is not the answer. We did some work, and under current visitation, we have to double the visitor numbers to generate the economic input that we do, and no one wants that. So if it is going to be ecotourism, it has to be smart ecotourism, and it has to be phased in. So there's nothing stopping it happening tomorrow. Let's start with 50%. Let's look at the aspirations of the Indigenous community. Let's look at the mining and how it phases and how it interacts with the community, and do it properly. Not rush into a decision based on a number. It just doesn't make any sense. And the mapping as well. Let's not just say, well, all mining leases are going to park. Some of them could be suitable for ecotourism or resorts or housing or other Indigenous businesses. Let's look at it sensibly and plan it. I mean, I'm a resident. I've been there for 15 years. The last thing I'd like to see, and even though I might move away when mining finishes, I still want to retain some connection with the island, and I'd love to see it planned properly.
I understand the mines have a restoration program for the environment. How does that work, and how effective has it been on Stradbroke Island?
Mining restoration is a complex science, so we've actually put a lot of effort in. We've got 40 years of practice, if you like, and I'm standing on the shoulders of some very, very clever thinkers before me and my colleagues at the moment. So we have to put back the forest structure, the forest species, the soils go back. We have to pay attention to the soil microorganisms and all of the ways that the soil restores itself. And then once we've got the vegetation and the microclimate, if you like, happening, it's the fauna that comes back after that. So, around about a sort of 10 to 20 year time frame, we've got a lot of the bigger species come back into the rehab, such as your goannas, your snakes, your koalas, your kangaroos and wallabies. Even the echidnas don't mind the rehab. But it will take a long time for hollows to form in the forest, and that's probably our one limiting thing, anything that needs hollows to live in.
How big are the mines at the moment, and how much this rehab is happening?
We're always progressively rehab, so we're always doing rehab. So every year we've got an amount of rehab and an amount of clearing. So over the last couple of years, because of where we're at in the stage of the mine, it's been a little bit bigger than what it would have been normally, but that's actually rapidly catching up. I think we've already done 80 hectares worth of rehab this year, and we've got over 100 and something planned for next year. So actually the footprint will be shrinking from here on in. And of course, when Yarraman mine closes in 2015, that'll halve our footprint, so it'll actually be quite small. And our footprint, of course, is tiny compared to any of the other open cut mines around Queensland.
Craig Ogilvie is the councillor for the North Stradbroke Island region. He said that mining and ecotourism have coexisted on the island for many years.
They've coexisted for a long time, really, up until this point. Tourism on Stradbroke Island is already a major player in the community, as is mining, so they've coexisted for a fairly long time already. I guess the question here, though, is whether the environment and the aspirations of the Indigenous community coming into play mean that we need to start planning for a vision where mining is gone from the island and the environmental values have more of a role to play. I think that's where the state government's going. I think too we shouldn't forget that this whole conversation has a lot to do not just with this new vision that the state government's got, but it's also got a lot to do with the aspirations of the Indigenous community who have had a long-standing native title claim. That native title claim has advanced, significantly recently in the federal court, and it's meant that state government has been in a conversation with the native title claimants about what the island's going to look like in the future. So they're not. I think it's been game shifts in what has previously been and what now is and where we're going, and the game shifters have been this view that the environmental values are more important than mining, and also this view that there needs to be some sort of land justice for the local Indigenous community, along with what their view might be, what their aspirations might be for the island. So all those things are sort of shifting, and that's what's brought us to this place, I think.
Do you think ecotourism can really replace mining in North Stradbroke's economy?
Replacing mining is a big task, there's no question about that, and I think just making glib assumptions that putting a kingfisher or a tangalooma or a Koorin Cove on Stradbroke is going to replace the mines is fairly overly simplistic. It has to be a lot more developed than that as far as the vision goes, and I think the task is a tough task. There's no question that tourism jobs can be low skill based jobs and not exactly well paid, seasonal, and all those things. So we've got a challenge here. There's no question about that. So
where is the money going to come from to convert North Stradbroke to ecotourism?
Obviously, we have a fairly big investment in the island already from a council point of view. And I don't have figures at hand, but we put in millions of dollars to the island. We have a fairly large workforce over there, and our management responsibilities are fairly extensive. So we're putting in a bunch of money already. I think the capacity of this council to put in more than what it's currently putting in is not great. So no question, state government's going to have to step up to the plate. There's a difficulty here in that this council's catchment is mostly a mainland catchment, and its population too is mostly a mainland population, so its revenue base is mostly mainland. So to keep asking a mainland population to finance island type activities is a tough ask. You can only do so much of that.
So how has the island community reacted to the state government's announcement?
I think the local community is split. I think you've got everything from the deep green, who would say to you that the island, the areas that they're about to mine are old growth forest, and we need to cease mining yesterday, not today. On the other side of it, you've got a mining industry which is saying we've got enough minerals there for the next couple of 100 years. At the end of the day, we are a community and society that needs these minerals to make things and so forth. And we have world-class rehab, and we make an important contribution to the local economy. Therefore, we should be allowed to continue on for the time being.